Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Off the Grid. Oh, I'm rolling back into Willamina Forest this morning after running timber. Frankly, I was getting a little bit low on funds. Pierre wasn't available, so I decided to truck this up overnight. Woo, I'm beat. But I got work to do, and I can't let that slow me down. I just can't. It's the way of things. So, what do we need to get done today? Well, I think I'm pretty close to finishing off the farm market. You can see I moved the farm all here to take the place of the far harvester. You know, just for now, I'm sure at some point I will get that harvester back up here. Come on, brother. You got this. You got this. So, I'm sure I will bring that back up as soon as the big harvester is fixed. And yes, we always need to make sure we close the gates. We're not ready to open for business yet. Oh, you can also see I put in a pay point there. Now people know exactly where to pay when they come through the farm market. And I've got a little bit of other things to show you around here. But I think there's really only one thing left to do before that opens for business again. But that's not going to happen just yet. Right now, I need to get this rig back to the homestead. Okay, I'm just going to park that up right here. I have got work to get done today. Going to be a lot of running, a whole bunch of running to town mostly. That place across the lake, Willa Bay, for various reasons. But first, I want to get back to something. I'd started working on this before I decided to run that timber, and this is really kind of the last piece of the farm market puzzle. Getting some wood down there, get it chopped for firewood, and then I really think the farm market is really close to being ready to open. Keep your fingers crossed. I'm just going to cut some pieces off here. I hope they're small enough. They should be. I'll have some longer pieces. That's why I brought the flatbed over, because I know there's going to be some longer pieces also. But these small ones can just fit right in the pickup truck. Yeah, see, this one's light. Oh, no, I still have another little one. And even if I don't get all of the wood chopped today, but yeah, you see how long that is. And I can just strap that in and carry it long. That'll work. You know, you'd think with this bark these would be easier to hold on to, but apparently not today. What do we say to the god of timber? Not today. Not today. Will you ride in there like that? Oh, there we go, playing Tigger again. How about you? You gonna ride sideways? Yeah, that's not bad. Did that piece fall over? Of course it did. One more on top, maybe? Let's give that a whirl. Better check that one. It's going to go flying around. No, I think it's okay. Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah, quick run down to the farm market. I can show you the little changes that I've made down there. I like it. I think it's going to be very, very nice, and people should enjoy it. Okay, so here's what we've got going on. I've put new signs in. Mulch, firewood. But I tried to kind of color coordinate them, so my red cabbage, kind of purple. Pumpkins, orange, and green, of course. Watermelon. What else could it be? Cauliflower. And, of course, tomatoes. Although I'm not sure I like that. The contrast on that is a little bit funky. I don't know. We'll see. And then, of course, hay and straw. I still need to get more hay down here. I did sell off pretty much all of my hay and straw to Hugo, and I got kind of carried away and forgot I needed to bring more bales down here, but I can do that later. Not that big of a deal. But right now, the only thing left to do here is get some sawwood cut, or get me some sawwood cut, Harv. Get some firewood cut. So it's just a matter of unloading and chopping it into pieces. About like so. And that's going to be very, very, very handy. Very handy indeed. See how nice and neat that stacks right in there? It's going to make the whole firewood business down here much easier, much quicker, much more efficient than the old log splitter system was. Assuming I can even move these logs around, because, well, that's kind of the trick here, isn't it? I got them in here fairly easily, with, you know, not counting the whole Tigger situation. But getting them out is apparently going to be a little more of a challenge. Come on, brother. Well, that's all the firewood for now. That's not a bad start. I can easily bring more down here, more wood down here. Now, there's one more thing I kind of mentioned earlier, not, you know, earlier as in previously, that there's a bit of a secret project. And I noticed this offshoot coming off of my main road, and I talked to Pierre about it. And he said at some point there were some pine beetles, or there's some kind of infestation, and the Forest Service came in and requested to clear some trees, and he gave them permission to do that. And so they've pretty much worn a road out down through here, and like in this area they've cleared a bunch of trees out, and this just goes on and on. It goes pretty far back in. Back in there were some that were cleared out, some more cleared out through here, and through here. And just going, you know, you can look back there and see it goes pretty far back. Now, this kind of gave me an idea. It's actually a good idea. At least I think it's a good idea. And it's right next to the lake. Look at that. You can see the town across there. All the people on their beachfront properties, aren't they special? Anyway. I think setting up a campground would be a good idea. I think I can easily turn this into a camping area. I mean, the Forest Service has done the work for me. They've cleared all those spots out back there. And so I've started putting a few little things back there. Nothing much, but... And why is that police boat just sitting there? I don't know, must be having breakfast or something. I'm not sure, but they're always patrolling the lake now. Always patrolling the lake. I'm just going to jump that fence. So, once the farm market's up and running, something else I can do to start bringing in a little bit of cash is see if I can't get some camping spaces that people could come and basically rent for the night or for the week or whatever. I mean, you probably have a good idea of how all that works, relatively speaking. And so, you know, again, people who don't want to come to a lake and stay in a hotel or whatever, bring a tent, bring an RV, bring a camper, park it in my camping spaces, and enjoy the lake and the wilderness. Which lends me to another idea another idea that I have, maybe, and I'll have to see about this one. I'm not sure how it's going to sort itself out yet, but maybe, just maybe, some hiking or horse trails, because this forest goes back a long, long way, and I could easily put in something like that for people to enjoy. Everybody could enjoy. We'll see. That's for further on down the road. I'm not going to pursue that dramatically just yet. It's just an idea that I've had, but I think I'm definitely going to pursue that camping area down there along the lake. So look for that to come up pretty soon. Okay, so I have mentioned that selling milk and eggs at the farm market, because I don't have any refrigeration down there or anything, is probably not the best idea. I don't need people getting sick and then coming back to me and saying, but you're blah 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 this and that blah blah blah. No, I don't need that at all. So I want to run to town today and see if there's some place over there that will take my milk and eggs. And we've got another box of eggs. What I've been doing is putting my eggs in this pallet to kind of store them up. I hope this will fit in the back of the truck. I haven't checked to be sure if it will or not. Well, it'll kind of ride on the top of the back of the bed. Let's see if we can strap that in like that. Let's see. Yep, that'll just have to do. So I've got milk loaded in this old water trailer, and I've got my eggs on the back of my truck, and I'm gonna head into town to see if anybody's interested. Well, I just checked in at the diner, this place here. I thought, if anybody wanted milk and eggs, it would be a diner. It's not the kind of diner maybe you and I are used to. It's a frou-frou diner, for lack of a better word or description. They, even though it says diner, they actually are kind of an upscale place, like buckwheat pancakes and with fancy names and all of that. But as I was coming through, let me see if I can swing off here. This place called the Cakery. I assume that means they bake cakes. And what do cakes need? Well, cakes definitely need eggs, and I'm sure they use plenty of milk also. Let's see what these folks can do for me, if anything. The Cakery it is. Actually, these guys were fairly excited by the prospect of getting farm fresh eggs and local dairy products in general. Very excited by the fact that they could claim that their cakes are locally sourced. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that, but let me get this delivery taken care of. So that wasn't a bad deal at all. I had over 5,000 liters of milk and about 1,000 liters of eggs, and those guys took it all, every bit of it, and I just made about $5 grand off of them. Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Who'd have thunk it? So I'm doing all right as well. I mean, I don't, this is maybe a weekly kind of thing, but they said if I ever have more to come by, because they are always looking for fresh product. And I said, well, you have it. I just use enough for myself to keep me going, and I've got enough chickens and cows at this point to keep me going for a good long while. So I have a lot of leftover, and they were very, very, very happy and excited to see that product come to their doorstep, because they know how far off the beaten path they are. There are enough people now up here to keep them in business. I mean, this is not a cheap cake shop either. We're talking you know, they make a cake, it's probably going to cost you the better part of $100 or so, maybe more, depending on what you want or need. So I guess that little town across the lake is going to pay me a few benefits. Who am I to complain? So I made a command decision. Now, don't get me wrong, this old trailer has served me quite well. It's the one, well, it didn't get me started. It was one that came in later. It's done its job, but it's a little too big and bulky for the homestead. Just the width on it alone has made it a bit of a challenge sometimes, and it's too tall for my harvester. And I think, well, I mean, the harvester threw a belt, which that's normal wear and tear, but it's certainly not doing any good the way that I've been forced to unload into this trailer, because it puts a lot of stress on the harvester, especially on the pipe. And so I decided to find something better. So I called ahead to the shop, and the shop basically said, sure, we've got trailers, and if you bring yours over, we should be able to work out a deal, give you a fair price. Now, I ordered a trailer, I paid for it up front. That's why my money's a little bit low at the moment, although it's coming back up. I mean, I did sell the timber for about $35,000. That's been the standard price for a trailer load, but pretty much all of that went into the purchase of the new trailer. So I need to bring this one in, see what they'll give me for it. This one is bigger by a little bit, not by a lot, but by a little bit, than the new one. And it's still in, you know, really good shape. I mean, it's a trailer. I take care of my stuff, so hopefully I'll get a fair price for it. Well, they did give me a very good price for my trailer. A very good price, actually. It actually just about came in even. Just about even. This one was about $32,500, and they gave me just over $31,000 for my trailer. So can't complain about that. Although this one is a bit smaller, just a little bit though. About what, 6,000 liters maybe. But that's okay, because this is going to work much better with my equipment. I do have one more trip to make over here. I'll probably do that later. It's not any kind of a priority, but Mrs. Nelson called and wanted me to know that the cotton trailer was ready to be picked up. So I will run back over here at some point and take care of that. I told you, so much running to do today. So much running. The farm market's pretty much ready to open. I think I will get that started tomorrow. More than likely, come down here and do one more once over. Maybe mow the grass one more time. Yeah, the grass is probably going to need it by then. And open for business. We'll see. So while I was at the shop, the guys let me know that my belt would be in a few days. They're actually getting to know me down there, so I mean, they pretty much greet me by name when I walk through the door anymore. And so the harvester's not functional yet. I'm almost a little bit of afraid to put any crops in before I get that up and running again, just because I don't want to tempt fate, if you know what I'm talking about. Really, really not interested in tempting fate. Not at all. One thing that I do know, however, is that anytime you plant corn, it takes some extra work in the field. And this is needing to be plowed out now before I can put anything else in it. So I'm getting that taken care of. Just something to finish off the morning. Now, I mentioned that this tractor had GPS system installed, which is just fine and dandy. It took me a minute to get it sorted out, but I finally figured out exactly how that functions. So some of my work, at least as far as using this tractor goes, should run a little more efficiently from this point forward. Fingers crossed, as always. It's kind of been my thing lately, fingers crossed. Anyway, I also heard back from Mr. Singleton, who is working on that little project that I paid $25,000 for. Anyway, the paperwork has been filed. He got all the information he needed gathered up, filled out the paperwork, drafted whatever legal documents needed to be drafted, and that has been submitted. So at this point, it's just a matter of waiting to see if we get approval or not. Now again, I don't want to talk out of school. I don't want to say too much. Make promises that I end up not being able to keep. But it's big. It's going to be very big. It could end up creating a lot more work for me, which is fine. I'm obviously not afraid of a little hard work. Otherwise, I wouldn't have all of this that you see here before you. The farm market, everything that's happened here in the Willamina forest. I mean, I came up here expecting to get my hands dirty, and they've gotten dirty. I've had to make some command decisions occasionally. I mean, this is no small venture that I've taken on for myself. And I don't know if you remember how we started, but everything was covered with trees, 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 and more trees. Now I'm just going to get this one field plowed out, get that little bit of work done, and then I'm headed down to the home plots because I'm pretty sure I've got a plan for how those are laid out, and of course those are also going to be somewhat dependent on what Mr. Ben Singleton is able to accomplish with his documents. And for the price I paid, I hope he manages to accomplish a whole lot of something. Okay, so what I've discovered here is that I really need to get up along this ridge line here and start pushing back farther into the forest a little bit. I mean, so you might be able to see if I pull out, you can see how, you know, this is basically a steep hill mountainous area. And so I'm going to have to cut my road up and back in before I can put in the next two plots. That's really where things stand at the moment. It should sort itself out exactly the way I want it to. I just have to get back in a little bit farther. Now this plot cuts off pretty far back in, but believe it or not, if I can get up this ridge, I should be able to, and this road should cut right through there, but I should be able to put a plot in behind that one, essentially. I need to get in a little bit closer here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. There we go, that's better. But I should be able to get one in behind that plot there, and then I should also be able to get one farther back in. So I'm going to follow this ridge line up. Actually, it's opening up quite nicely up here, so there's not much to clear to start pushing back in. That's actually very nice. Very nice indeed. Come on, brother. On the plus side, you know, the timber coming out of here has been slowly producing some cash to keep me going. I think I'm just breaking even at this point, though. Very much breaking even. But as things are wont to do, things are getting older. You know, at some point, Well, it's just a belt, so it's not a crisis or anything. Don't 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 let me overblow it. But you know, that harvester, it was kind of an old harvester to begin with. Yeah, back through this way. That's gonna be nice. It'll work out nicely, actually. But you know, it might be time to start taking a look at that and seeing if there's something else out. Maybe I need to call Ed. Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to call Ed and see if he's got a connection. But yeah, that's going to be a seriously large expense, getting that particular piece of equipment replaced. Probably the most expensive piece of equipment I have, with the exception of the loader that I picked up from the auction off of the original sawmill. Come on, work with me here. And then, of course, I had to replace the International. Oh, which reminds me, the guys at the shop did say that they had figured out the International. They finally had time to look into it and work on it a little bit, and what they're telling me is it's going to need a new engine. The old engine is just shot, so you know that's going to be extremely expensive. I'm not sure. You know, they said they could do it for about $9,000. And I don't really want to lose that tractor because that was a big connection to Chuck. So I got to do some thinking about that one. Well, it's getting a little bit hazardous. A little bit. I pulled a lot out. Pulled an awful lot out, and I will start in the back. I need to get some of these stumps out of the way because it's getting a little bit difficult to roll through here. So the road's going to continue on in this direction. Right here you can see. And then I've started cutting in behind the 4th plot. And this will be the start of plot 5. I think plot 5 is actually going to end up being a very nice plot. And you can see I did not do a very good job of cutting this particular stump right here. It's alright. It'll come out just like all the others. About like so. But yeah, if you just waltz right through here, now we're in plot 4. So there'll be a nice nice bit of tree here to separate the two. And that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I think you can, you've made that out on your own, but what I'm really trying to do is leave tree breaks in between the different plots. Kind of dividers. Hopefully, I think the trees add a natural beauty to the area personally. Hopefully other people will see it that way also. But I'm going to keep plugging away. I'm going to try to get plot 5 at least done. Now that I know where the cutoff to it is, it's going to be right back through there. I'm going to keep working these trees. Maybe I can get Pierre to run another load for me sometime soon so I don't have to do it. In fact, that being up all night is starting to catch up with me. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Off the Grid. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. As always, I very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.